Welcome this morning. We're here for the final day of 2014 BPAA Bowl Expo, and our next guest, probably one of the most decorated women in the bowling industry today. A whole list of things, but we'll say mostly the co-owner of Storm Bowling Products, Barb Chrisman. Barb, great to have you with us today.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. You know, I always love an opportunity to talk. I've never been known as the quiet one that sits in the corner.
Well, that's something we were talking about a couple of nights ago. And because we're here in Orlando, Doug Lipp, one of the, well, he wrote the book, You Disney, and he was talking about a concept of Walt Disney and Roy Disney, the brothers. There was always the combination of the dreamer and the doer. One person had to have a step in the past and one a step in the future. And I kind of thought of you and Bill that way. I mean, you, as you said, oh, I can't pass up an opportunity. Bill being the strong, silent type. And when your relationship started, were you the dreamer side and Bill was the doer? Has it evolved over the years?
You know, I was thinking about that when I saw that from Disney, and I was looking at how it applied to us, and it has flip-flopped sometimes daily, and it always is according to what we're doing. You know, if we're talking just about Storm, I'm going to say that Bill was the visionary. He was the dreamer. You know, when I look back on it, it was so exciting to watch because I was the one that made sure that the house payment was paid. I worked in our other industry, which was an industrial chemical company, and I went out and sold and made sure that the house payment was paid, the kids had shoes on their feet. But when I watched Bill, and there was this, it was almost tangible. It wasn't in, Storm wasn't in existence yet as it looks now, but when he'd talk about Storm and what he wanted to do and what he wanted to bowl and ball and what you wanted to do with this and what he wanted to do with that, I'm not kidding you, he was like a magnet. People would just flock in, they could just feel the vision. And so as Storm goes, I've got to say that Bill was the visionary. I was the doer. I was the one that took the first bowling balls to the showboat and begged the pros. Oh my gosh, I was terrified. But to go up to the likes of Dick Weber, and I'd sit in the back with this first little bowling ball we made and a case of them, and I'd be going, would you please throw this bowling ball? And they'd say, why? And I'd say, because we're just, you know, a young couple in Ogden, Utah. And then finally one guy said, I don't care. Why would I want to throw this bowling ball? And I said, you know, because it's technologically advanced. We were one of the first to have the reactive shell technology, and we were definitely the first to put it in a stable weight mass. I mean, have a stable weight mass as a core. So that's what kept us going, was just a few of the professional bowlers that would risk throwing the bowling ball, and then Bill came up with the yellow Sunstorm, and I threw it, and I was going, oh my gosh, this comes back all black and dirty. And he goes, that's right, but when you're 15 lanes down from in a bowling center and you see a yellow ball go down the lane, what are you going to do? You're going to walk down and go, what the heck is that?
Yeah, or if you see it on TV, hopefully.
Right.
So, now, going back to that first ball, if the Bob Hart story is correct, that was a teal Storm?
The very, very first ones we made, we kept trying to come up with the blue hammer. Remember those? Mm-hmm. We kept trying to come up with that dark or that unshiny. I think it's Columbia blue is the color now.
It
was black. It was the black. You know, we kept coming up with this black bowling ball, and we were actually called High Score Products at the time. Mm-hmm. And through a bunch of brainstorming session one night, I came up with the name of Storm because we were looking for something powerful. So actually, Storm came about as being the first name of the bowling ball. And then somebody in back east said, oh, you're building on our big name, but, you know, so we ended up changing it to Storm, and then But the very first thing that we did come out with that we finally said, we're going to go bankrupt doing this. And that's the key to our success, is that we were always willing to live on the verge of bankruptcy. We never took any money out of the company. We were always putting it back, getting a new employee or doing something like that. But finally, our supplier kept sending us this shiny crap, and the real story of reactive shell technology is that in order to ship there's a part A and a part B. In order to keep the part B or part A, I'm not sure which one, from freezing on the railroad cars, they had to put an additive in. And that additive is what created the shiny, sticky, reactive shell technology. It was because we didn't want that part to freeze. And so we just came out with the green teal, called it a Storm.
And now the teal is your official Storm color.
Flagship. Yep.
So there you folks have that story. And obviously the other one is the bowling balls have a smell. And when people are explaining in the shop to someone else, well, that's because the lady owns the company. That's why they smell good.
Absolutely not. We had a chemical company, and when you really think about it, you're really not thinking about it. But when you think about glass cleaner, what color do you think of?
Blue.
Blue. When you think about glass cleaner, what do you think the smell is probably like?
More likely lemon, or sometimes vinegar.
Absolutely. So, because of our experience in our chemical company, there was one, we made a chemical that was a degreaser, and I knew it was better than this product that was out on the market called Simple Green because it was more concentrated. I'm not putting that product down at all. It's just that in an industrial situation, I can make it 10 times stronger. I don't have to add as much water. Well, they told me it wasn't as good. And I'm going, okay, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to change the color to green. I'm going to put spruce fragrance in it. And then I want to give it to your guys. They used it. They loved it. It was the best thing they'd ever done. And they probably bought 50 drums of it from me. So we understood the importance of smell and the concept of that. And one night we seriously are laying in bed watching the Discovery Channel about mammals. And the very first, in the five senses, the very first sense that you develop in the womb is smell. Because most mammals are born with their eyes closed. They cannot find their mother to nurse if they can't smell her. And so Bill and I just looked at each other and we thought, well, heck, we put smells in chemicals, and that's really a subliminal thing. So we tried putting fragrance. We said, let's make the bowling ball smell good.
Yeah, and we've been hosting the Kids State Tournament at the bowling center I'm at. And I had a lady with her son, and she's just leaning over a table with balls, and says, what smells like blueberries in here? So there are still people that don't know about it, and said, yeah, smell the ball. No, I'm not going to smell it.
Yeah.
And when we put stickers on all the Storm balls, what the flavor is, what is that? Cherry. Oh, yeah. But the favorite of everybody's birthday cake. No calories.
Right. There is as many fragrances as you can dream. Now, some of them don't necessarily match real well with the, what's funny is some people loved chocolate, but other people just hated it. But anytime you have anybody talking about your product, as long as the bowling ball is doing what it's supposed to do on the lanes, if they're saying, you know what, I don't like that smell, and somebody's going, well, I like that smell, you're creating buzz.
Yeah, so
you've got people talking about your product.
I want to buy that cherry bowling ball.
Right.
But I just remembered this question that I got to ask Barbara about this. How about on the savory side? How about a bacon-smelling bowling ball or a hamburger?
I don't know.
Popcorn.
Well, we'll have to think. No, popcorn and I'd be eating it. I'd be licking the bowling ball. Popcorn calls my name. Maybe that's a good idea. We just hate to see a bunch of little kids going over and licking their parents' bowling balls, but hey, I know it won't kill them, so maybe it's a good idea. We'll think, well, you know, maybe we'll try one.
No
Yeah.
kel. No kel.
No cow.
Yeah, low carb. So
Well,
we
you
get it
know
all
what?
solved.
They sell all those diet things that say, hey, if you just spray this in your mouth and you can taste the popcorn and you can smell it, then in 10 minutes you're supposedly not hungry anymore. And I thought, maybe that's what we need to do with bowling balls. Hey, you know what? The diet. It's a new diet aid.
And one of the questions is, how long does the smell last?
Forever.
So even from the first balls you made with aromas, they're still there.
Yes, because they're actually blended inside the bowling ball. Now, it may fade a little bit, but it's usually due to oils and dirts embedded in the pores of the bowling ball so that you know, and other smells being put over the top. But if you send it through a refurbishing machine, the smell will come back.
Yeah, just heat it up a little bit, folks,
Yeah.
and put it
Yeah.
in your trunk for a few hours.
Right, yeah.
Ken, so we're here at the show. I think Chris Schlemmer had said, oh, we got some new stuff, but wait till you see the stuff we're introducing at the show. So kind of a hint of, well, I'm the visionary at this moment, Bill. Don't ask me that.
Yeah. You know what? What's funny is that I really did run our chemical company and our industrial supply company, and Bill, when we finally got big enough to where we were bursting at the seams. Our manufacturing was in one little place in Brigham City in this old Indian school property, but all the offices were at our chemical company called CC Distributing. When we finally got big enough to where we bought the building, put the manufacturing in there, then we could move the people in there, it became like I ran CC to keep everybody's house payment paid. I went out and I did promotions. I went around with the women bowlers. That was my job. Bill did the guys and the women at Storm were the ones that were coming up with the bowling balls and coming up with the ideas. And when I was bowling all the time, I knew what, but I don't make my products look very good. I'm only a 170 average. So.
Which is still above average for most women.
Yeah. But so I really don't know, and it's almost shameful that I don't, because I'm invited to every production meeting, but it's always sometime that something's being interfered. We do have a daughter that requires a lot of my time, and then you know what? I just forget. I'm getting old enough where I just forget. I'm sure they've told me what we've got, but I forget. I know
really.
the first one's the Optimist.
Sure, it's not really your concern what
Right.
the new stuff. But I was going to ask you also that you're doing some new stuff over, like at the booth, you're doing some audio video.
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
It was, we've got all these young guns, and some of us older that know I think the most difficult thing about growing a business to the size it is now is letting go of the control. Because when you start getting 150 employees, you can't manage every single thing. So when these guys in the marketing department came up with this idea, and I showed up yesterday morning and I was going, I don't like this. It looks like a television studio. It doesn't look like we're selling any bowling balls, by golly, darn gee.
I'm sure those were the words you used.
Yeah, yep. And then, but after about an hour of watching it and realizing this is exciting. People are coming and seeing and doing and participating, watching, the interviews that are going on with the pros, and it's all being live streamed at the moment. And so anybody that's interested and can't be here, they can see. And there's a lot of funny interaction with the pros. We've got Bo Burton, and he got me on the side, and he says, I've never seen anything like Storm. You guys are awesome. And he says, it reminds me of the old days. It's the excitement of the old days. So I had to change my mind. I had to go, you know what? For years we've sat around with bowling balls sitting on slat wall, and cool graphics running around, but that's pretty much what you're doing, is you're being an order taker, and so this has created a buzz.
Yeah. Well, this is why we do these interviews, because we know everybody in the bowling world cannot be at Bowl Expo.
Right.
So this is a way of extending your audience into an international
Well, we
audience, because
appreciate
we're
you
streaming it.
inviting us.
YouTube
Yeah.
is a great thing and all that stuff. As we mentioned, highly decorated. John Davis Award, Joyce Deitch Award, and Bill was presented with the award from the military at Tuesday night's
Right.
beach party. But I think the big story right now that's going out is the impatient Barb Chrisman of next year we're going to be at $10 million for the Susan Komen Bowl for the Cure. But Barb says, why wait?
Yeah, it was, I don't like to really, I don't donate because I want recognition. I want to donate because I want to make a difference. And I am ever reminded and ever thankful to every bowler who has ever supported us, bought a bowling ball, bought a bag, because it has enabled me to be able to not only give back to the bowling industry, which was our primary goal for the first, 20 years, but the last couple, I've been able to take some of that money and actually create and build a domestic violence center in our local community for men and women who are being battered. And when I just happened to be at the bowling, at the USBC convention in Reno, when they said, they were up on stage and they were going, oh my gosh, we've tried everything we could to get $1 million. And I'd been so moved by, I think her name was Shannon, that's a breast cancer survivor. She just rocked my world when she spoke about how she beat this disease and is there for for her kids, and she had her kids there. And I just kind of listened to that quiet voice once in a while, and when I found out they were only 25,000 short of making their goal, it was just like, hell, I got that. So
You used to.
yeah. Oh yeah, I don't have it anymore, but you know what? Somebody else has it, and hopefully
Feels
there's
good.
a cure. Yeah. So I personally want to thank every bowler who has bought a Storm bowling ball that enables me to be able to give to good causes. You know what? I don't have planes and boats, but I have enough. I'm comfortable.
There's a lot of people like yourself that don't want the recognition of when they contribute to charities and things, and they don't want to get, it's not, I don't know, I guess it's just they want to stay anonymous, and they don't want the people to think, and then because on the other end, once people find that out, it's like when you hit the lotto, all of a sudden you got all these people want you to donate to their charities, and you only have so much money.
Oh yeah, I'm not a Dow Corporation or any of these guys that have millions and millions of dollars, and so it is a catch. I put our name on it so that people would know the money was coming from the bowling industry. Okay, it wasn't to make Bill and Barbara Chrisman be the stars of the community or the stars of bowling. I love recognition as far as what I've accomplished, but I don't necessarily like recognition because I gave you money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yes, and I ever since we have started giving, I'm getting a lot more. But you know what? Through my life experiences, I'm also blessed that I know how to say no. I can say no in a kind way that this is not something that I'm interested in. So.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time and coming to the table and being on our show, and we'll be putting this up. And as always, we love talking to everybody from Storm and all the pros that's on the show that you let us have access to. We really appreciate that.
Well, I am honored that you would ask. That is just awesome that you think that I'm interesting enough to be on your show. And so I'd be happy to come again. So thank you.
Yeah, because the last time we talked about the that bowling, was that apparatus at store where you can buy all the different products off of. They had redone, remember?
Oh, the vending machine.
Oh yeah, that
On-
last year we were, yep, that was another first. I mean, I just happened to be on Rick's Restoration with a bowling aids machine that I was refurbishing for Bill, and it just went on. It was just one of those serendipitous type things. I mean, they got it done in March. They taped the episode in April. They happened to be in Las Vegas. Rick happened to be available during Bowl Expo. It was a lot cheaper to ship the thing from 5 miles than it was to ship it up to Brigham City, Utah, and then bring it back down. So it was just. So you know what? It's just, let's spread the word out there to other industries that don't know about bowling. We've got to stop being this little tiny thing that we keep hidden under a beautiful tree. We got to trim the tree a little bit and let some people see us.
Well,
the
more
sunshine.
people bowled last year than went to every single Major League Baseball game.
And that's amazing. And, that's a big, I can only make product and I can only support like the bowling, the pro shop operators and the bowling proprietors. The bowling proprietors own the thing, our playing surface. And if they don't grab that first bowler and give them a good experience and help coach them, it's amazing to me that we've walked around apologizing for our industry for so long, and I went out and I started an individual league, which means just one person with 100% handicap based on 220. So I mean, the playing field is absolutely level. I've got a 70 average bowler, I've got a 190 average bowler, a 220 bowler, and I'm going to tell you, the 220 bowler did not win. And when I told them that it would cost, $18 for their USB-C card, and that they would be bowling in this center that was, a BPAA registered center, you know what? They didn't once blink and ask me, well, what do I get from my membership? I just told them, this is what it costs. This is what it costs to join, to come have fun. So give me your $18.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of organizations you join, and all you get is a card and maybe a discount somewhere. And so just
But stop
give me...
apologizing and trying to tell you, you know what, you get this for this and this and this. And you know what? You don't ever walk in a subservient position if you've ever been in sales. You walk in like you know what you're doing and that you're going to be really, really, really happy to buy from me. So...
Well, one thing that USBC doesn't market as far as a membership, they have things like bowl perks.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about that. You can save a lot of money on that. So the $18 or $20 alone,
Oh, yeah.
that's like nothing compared to what you can save on all these companies that are partners, and they don't promote that
Right.
enough. So what do I get? Here, do you do cell phones? Do you do direct TV? Do you travel? Do you rental cars? Do you need insurance? This is what you get for your $18 or $20, and they don't put that out and let the people know.
Right. I think that they're doing a much better job. And, when I was on the board, it was in the first concepts, but now that I've been off for about 2 or 3 years, 2 years, that I've been real happy to see that the things that we were talking about 5 years ago is being put in place. At first I think there were some things that I didn't need to use, but if you give me a discount on an airline to go to somewhere, or a discount on the things that I can use, or, there's lots of things. It's just a rental car.
You can sell memberships that the people, they don't even bowl. You
Right.
have family members, relatives, for the money they can
Yep.
save. You can sell a lot more memberships. It's going to bring a lot more money into the bowling industry if people know about it.
Right.
We ask each week at a show, you know anything about bowl perks? No, is that a coffee? What is that?
Bowl perks.
Even bowl, nobody knows. They just ask them. Nobody knows about it.
Well, I think that they are going to be, I'm just real excited with the people that we have in place at USBC and how things are going. I think that bowling is going to come back. I think that the bowling proprietors are doing a great job. They've got people in place. They've got programs in place. I know it was real controversial to move USBC and bowling proprietors into the same building along, 5 years ago. But you're starting to see those benefits happening. You're starting to see those people starting to work together instead of beating each other up. All that's got to do is trickle down to the center in your local, in your hometown.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen, and I'm betting it's going to happen in our lifetime, in the
You're
next
saying
10
people
years.
being in place. We've now got a new executive director, not interim, and Chad Murphy for
Right.
USBC, and Frank DeSocio for BPAA. So they made the decision, let's hire from within. And I
Right.
think that's a great move.
Right. Well, you know what? There's always the idea that you want to get fresh blood and you want to get somebody qualified with those degrees. And there is something to be said for that. But I'll tell you that Bill Chrisman does not have a degree in business. I have a degree in medical technology. I'm a great medical laboratory person, But we read books whenever we needed information. We knew that we hired people that were smarter than us. We hired people that knew bowling. We don't have anybody at Storm that isn't a bowler except for our controller, and I don't think he'd make a very good bowler. All I need him to do is chase numbers, right?
Write out those checks.
Right. He needs to be able to add.
So Barb, great to have you on. Great product, and on behalf of all those Storm bowlers, thank you and Bill for being such a great company.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll keep sponsoring those events and those tournaments.
The high
So,
rollers, and it's like everything you see out there. Storm, that
Yeah.
great teal logo.
yeah. All right. Hey, thank you again.